Hello and welcome back, everybody. All right, as you can see, we've got in all of our librarians done, and we got some more over here that we still have to zombify and cure, but we do have all of the trades that we need, so I'm going to have to do that. I'll do that off camera, though. And while I was doing all this, I had a little bit of a thought. I was going to build this up to 2, maybe 3 layers, but what I realized is that that's kind of a lot. And for where I am right now in the season and with what I need to get done, I don't really feel like it is necessary to build that much. So what I think we're going to do is we'll finish off this floor. We'll put the librarians we have in. We'll have a couple of farmers to give us golden carrots, maybe some cartographers to farm some emeralds, and then maybe a few other guys. I don't know exactly who we're going to make, but we'll, of course, fill up this whole layer. And then we'll do something decorative up here to make it feel more like a hall and less like a prison. So I will get started on that off camera. However, we've gotten to a point here where mostly everything inside the castle walls is done. There's a few things I need to kind of clean up, and I want to retexture a couple of things, but for the most part, things inside the wall are done, which leaves us what's left. Well, I'm going to go sleep, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, I have slept, I am well rested, and then I want to discuss this down here, because as you can see, most of the castle is kind of hanging off where I did terraform. Now, we of course are not going to leave this way. We are going to have to terraform all of this out, but I do terraforming kind of different than a lot of people do. So I terraformed all of this up when I first got here to have a pedestal for the castle to sit on. And as you can see, it's solid. And the reason it is solid is for the way things work in my own little head here. You see, I need to do that to pick all that up. Okay. You see, this giant castle would not sit on a little mound of dirt that wasn't solid. It would just collapse. Now, okay, in Minecraft, sure, I could build this entire castle supported by a single fence post if I wanted to, but the thing is, I don't really like that. It doesn't really work for my head, so we are going to want this to be all solid. Now, we're not going to make it solid dirt like I did there, because when I built that up, I didn't have my cobblestone farm. But I don't really want to use cobblestone either, because even with efficiency 5 and a beacon, cobblestone does not get insta-mined. Stone, on the other hand, does. So luckily I do have a super smelter in my blacksmith area here. So we've already done up 1 double chest. I have a few more to do to save up all of the stone that I'm going to need to do this. And what we'll do is we'll build it out of stone, and then we'll cover it in a layer of dirt. Now, I'm also going to want to trim back all of the sand too, just to get a nice even place to start with. And a lot of this over here, a lot of this cobblestone here will be trimmed back. What we're going to do is we're going to build a very much smaller than what I had originally planned lava farm in here, just to create lava buckets for the super smelter next door, which we can kind of break in, and I'll show you. All right, so this is our super smelter. It is 30 furnaces, if I remember correctly. So we'll make some lava buckets, and then we'll have the lava buckets automatically fill in to the fuel area, so we don't have to really worry about that while we do some smelting projects. And I don't know why I went down. I should have went over, but we're committed, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to do the villagers off camera. I'm going to get the stone all set in the super smelter. And a lot of the terraforming we will probably do over on live streams on twitchtv.grimfalcon746. And I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to hang out for those kind of grandy tasks. I am a variety streamer, so I don't just stream Minecraft, but I am trying to work it into the rotation every once in a while. But there will, of course, be a time lapse, so you guys will get to see it in the video anyway. So I'm going to go do the villagers, and the next time you see the cut, we'll be into a time lapse for the terraforming. Let's get started. that took a ton of time, but phase 1 of the terraforming is done. Phase 1 is just where we get all the stone down. And then phase 2 will do some of the shaping, set everything up. And then phase 3 will be covering everything with dirt and grass and kind of finishing out the final shape. But phase 1 is done for now. And now it's time. Oh, before that, there's something I want to show you. Obviously, this took quite a bit of stone to be able to do that. So I needed renewable fuel for my super smelter. And this is how I did that. I built myself a little lava farm. So I'm going to do a quick rundown of how all this works. So basically, I will stand in here. I will take buckets out of here, put them in my inventory, make sure all the other slots are full. And I will stand right here in the water, obviously. And I'll be looking at this bucket, holding down the right-click button. So as the cauldron comes through and is full of lava, I will use the bucket. It will throw it down it'll throw the lava bucket down since there's no space in my inventory. When that happens, it goes into this hopper. Now I have a redstone signal coming off of this hopper that signals back to this dropper, telling it to throw another bucket out. So I constantly keep that the amount of buckets in my inventory refreshed. That bucket, the lava bucket, gets sent this way, dropped into a water stream, which goes over here, up, and drops it into the fuel chest over there for the furnaces. Once the lava bucket is used up, it'll drop it into a sorting system, which will only pull out the lava bucket and allow the smelted items to go back into the blacksmith upstairs. The empty buckets come back into this item elevator, back into this chest, which then gets sorted down back into that dropper. Now, when this dropper runs out of buckets, this piston is forced out and stays out, shutting the system off because it can't push an extended piston, which means I never have to worry about accidentally dropping lava on my face and dying, which is a huge benefit. So, that's the quick rundown of how all of that works. And we need to get out of here. Okay, so with that all done and set, I need to turn my attention to, well, this. This is not the color I want all this. I want this all to be the regular copper color. I like it better. The non-oxidized copper is, guess what I should say. However, in order to do that, I need wax. Now, you don't use honey to do that, as I figured out when I tried to do it, it didn't work. No, you need honeycomb, I believe, to do it, which means I need to build a honeycomb farm. So what we're going to do is we are going to come over here into my industrial area, and we are going to build a honeycomb farm. We're just going to kind of offset it here, probably build it out right off the side here. 1 or 2 should be plenty. We don't need a ton of honeycomb, but it does mean that we have to build the system. And why do I have so many bees in there? That looks like it's way more than the 30 I should have. Do bees self-breed? That's like 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, that's definitely more than 30. Well, the good news is I don't have to go and capture more bees if I want to build this farm. I just need a couple of beehives. So we'll do 2. Since we have so many bees, we may do 2 or 3 just to speed the process up. And then we play the waiting game while we sit here and wait for all the honeycomb to come in so that we can turn all those into regular copper and wax them. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. And I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. All right, there we have it. The honeycomb farm is done. So I'm not going to go too into depth here because I did that when I built the honey farm. And it's basically the same system. So in this chest up here, we have our signal that sends it down. And we just keep pushing the signal along until we get into up to there. That's the signal for these comparators. So when these comparators output enough power, then if I jump up here, That triggers these dispensers, which are full of shears, which will give me honeycombs. And because all slots are full on the dispensers, the only place the honeycombs have to go is down into the hopper and down into the chest. So I've had that running for a little while now, and I've already gotten this much honeycomb, so that is going to be probably enough right there. If not, we can do some more AFKing. So first off, let's go and get my redstone shulker box again, which is kind of a mess right now, but that's fine. That's fine. All right. So let's grab our honeycomb, and we are going to grab an axe, and we're going to go and clean up and wax all the copper around my castle. And there we have it. All of the copper is cleaned back up, and it's all waxed now. You can see along the right side there, wax cut copper stairs, and they all have been waxed. We didn't have quite enough wax. We did have to go back and AFK for a little bit, but that is fine. Now we got a whole bunch more that I probably don't really need, but that's fine. Now, I want to turn my attention to this over here. Okay, well, first off, this ugly monstrosity that was marking out the entrance to my slime farm it's going to go. It has to go. And then I want to do something different with the tunnel going down here. I want to probably trim it out a little bit and just do some sort of a design so it's looks like a professional entrance, not just something that was slapped together. And then this is going to be the home of one of the makeshift villages for the supporting families that live around the castle. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. We're going to start on the tunnel, and we'll see what it looks like when that is done. Okay, for the tunnel on the way down, we have this sort of repeating pattern here. We're using lava as a light source, and then we're using pane glass instead of full glass blocks, just to break it up and give it a little bit more depth. So this pattern is going to repeat all the way down. I do like the pattern. I do like the stairwell. I'm not completely sold on the quartz blocks here. However, we will fill this all in and see what it looks like and make a decision then. What we are going to do is use stairs going the upside down, going all the way up. So that means we're going to need a lot more quartz stairs. And I think I'm going to replace these two quartz blocks with solid glass blocks. We'll see how that looks. And then we have to do something in back here a little bit to kind of decorate this tunnel. But the stairway comes first. So I'm going to go and do a whole ton of trading and do that. We'll carry this all the way up. I don't like the idea of just kind of cutting it off flat up here. So we're going to build the tunnel all the way up. And then once that's done, we can kind of hide some crimes back here with whatever we got to hide after that. So we'll decorate the back to make it look good. But of course, it's important to get that done before we start building the village out here, just so I know what kind of space I have to deal with. And how the back end's going to look is going to tie into how we make the village look. So the lore for this is that the village that was built here has the job of protecting the royal slime farm, which of course is down there. So that's what we were going for on this village. So I'm going to go and do a ton of trading to get more quartz stairs. And we'll see what this looks like when all the stairs are filled in. And here we have the tunnel is done-ish. I like to use that ish word a lot. So down here, I want to do something different with the base here. I just don't like how it just comes down and then goes into this plain wood here. I'm probably going to do something with this kind of a palette down here. And we still want to finish off this last wall. For now, I have this set up to go through here. I think I showed this earlier in the episode. I think I'm going to scrap this, though. And the entrance is going to be through here. So we're going to build like a bit of an arch. And then that's going to go out and then turn to the left. And then we'll come into the tunnel. And then, of course, we'll decorate off this tunnel in some way to make it look presentable as well. But that's all stuff that can wait. I built this specifically so that I would know what kind of space I'm dealing with to start building. And that's a pillager raid. And I can't even kill those jerk faces because I'll get bad omen. And if I get bad omen, then I'm going to have a problem when I go back to my base when a raid's going to spawn. So, but anyways, I will deal with that probably with a lava bucket, so I'm not technically killing them, even though they are dying. What I think we're going to do is we're going to build up the main tower, because, as I mentioned, this village, the lore of this village is that it is here to protect the Royal Slime Farm. So, of course, you need a tower set up so that you could see any threats that would be incoming. And then you'll have all the houses kind of around the edges and farms and everything else. But we're going to go ahead and build up that tower now. And while we're doing that, we're going to dump lava on those guys. Well, we just have to dump lava on the banner guy. We can kill the other guys with bows. So I'm going to go do that, and I will show you what the tower looks like when we're done. And this is where I got to on the tower, and honestly, I don't like it. From the outside, it doesn't look too bad, but I don't like when you go in that all you have is just constant, and I can't even get up there because of that. Is just stairs the whole way up, which obviously you need a way up, but no, I don't like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it down. I'm going to do the terraforming out, smooth everything out. I get the land set up the way I want it, and then we'll worry about building up the tower and the village. So if you'll excuse me, I have a tower to destroy. And here we have the completed tower. Pretty rudimentary, something simple. It didn't need to be anything fancy. Keep in mind, this is the village outside the castle walls, so the king wouldn't really spend a lot of money on that. It's just something to give height advantage and sight for the guards. So we are going to duplicate this tower one more time over here somewhere. Now, we want to pick the spot correctly, because where we put it is going to determine really the size of the village that's over here. So, and I'm thinking I want to put it right in this little area here. Yeah, right here, right in this landing between the little valleys here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that built, and then we'll start working on the other details of the village. Okay, I just died because I forgot to pause before walking away from my computer, and it really highlighted the need to repair this. So for those of you who may not be aware, this was blown up by a creeper on a live stream a little while ago. So we have to get this repaired. This is the Iron Man chamber, so that my backup gear is there, so I can just kind of run in, stand in there, get re-geared up, and then go out and collect all my gear and all of that fun stuff. So I need to get this built back up, and I got to replace all of my backup gear, which was destroyed when the creeper blew it all up. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this, and then we're going to go back to the village over there. All right, the Iron Man chamber is rebuilt and restocked, so now we can turn our attention back to the village. So, as you can see, the tower here, the second tower, is done. It is a carbon copy of the first tower, so there's nothing special about it. We're just going to continue on here. And I've been doing a little bit of thinking about what this village's specialty is going to be, because all the individual villages are going to have their own sort of specialties. So, for instance, the village is going to be beside the castle. That's going to be a fishing village. And then we're going to put a mining village like over there or over there. We'll find a cave or something to put that by. But this village, I think this village is going to be scholars, which means, of course, we need to build a library. Now, that library is not going to be anywhere near the size of the Royal Library. That, of course, has to be the most grandeur of them all. But we are going to build a library off in this corner. So we're going to build a large for the village, but still small compared to the Royal Library in here. And I have no plan for this. I'm just going to start placing blocks and hope it works out and correct it as I go. So I'm going to start on that, and we'll see how it looks when it's done. And here we have it, the village library. Now, I don't say this a ton about the stuff I build, but I'm actually kind of happy with how this turned out. So on the first floor here, obviously, we have all of the bookshelves and a couple of tables. And I'm going to put some book and quills on all of these. What the hell are these things called again? Lecterns. However, there are no squids on the server currently, so I'm going to have to wait until they decide to spawn so I can kill them for their ink sacs. And the top level is, of course, just more of the same. The only thing I'm not completely happy with is the shape of the roof, but it'll work for now. I might rework that at another time. And I think the entrance just needs a little more detail, but of course that is stuff that we can add in down the line. So, library is done, and now it's time to put in the houses. So, not sure how many houses we're going to fit in here, but we will fit the ones we can. And we'll try and make this village look more like a village and less like a spattering of a few buildings. And there we have it. All of the houses are in for this little village. And I gotta say, I do like how this turned out. Even when you fly in, you get all those little textures. Everything looks a little bit different. And now one thing you may notice is all of the roofs are just a little bit different. Different materials and different styles of roofs. And a large part of the reason for that is how this village would work is the peasants would have to buy the land, and then they'd be responsible for building on the land themselves. So they'd have to build their own houses, and they would be charged for the total footprint. So, like over here, this person, their house would include this footprint that comes out over the roof. That'd be part of the footprint that they would have to pay for. So a couple of people decided to do that, whereas some are like, well, no, we'll just keep everything inside. It all depends on how much money they had and how much they wanted to splurge. But all of that being said, we're not done yet because, as you see, we have all these paths around here, and we got a nice little central circle here where the market's going to go. So I've got to build up a whole bunch of markets here where the people would come to try and sell their wares and make some money. And then, of course, some would work in the library too. So we don't need the same amount of markets as we have residences, but we do want to be close to that because the library wouldn't offer a ton of jobs either. So I'm going to go ahead and get that built up, and then we'll take a look at what it looks like. And there we have it. The market is done. So these are all little stalls that individual people would be able to rent. So they would have been built by the village. And then there's a monthly rent that whoever would rent them would have to pay in order to use it to sell whatever wares that they may have to both villagers and travelers alike. So what else? Ooh, we need to put in our street lights. So we're gonna have a few the street lamps going around just to light the place up and make it not be a mob farm. I do have a little bit of light around here, see on the back of there, and the ones that have the roofs that have the hangovers, we have some light, but I suspect that won't be enough. But well, let's just wait. Let's see how dark this village gets when that sun goes down. Okay, so overall, the light level isn't terrible in the village. We do need some lamps. We were going to put one right in the middle of the market anyways, and then outside that, we'll probably put one over there, probably one right there. I want to keep them kind of near the path, just for authenticity. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to put a lamp post like way out there where no houses or path would get use of it. So we'll have to go down and kill those mobs though, and then probably one more down here. So it's going to be like 1, 2, maybe 4 lamp posts. And then I may have to see what I can do over on that side of the tower just to light things up or do some mob proofing, because that's getting a little bit, a little much there. But I'm going to go ahead and sleep through the night here. And then I'm going to go ahead and build those lamp posts. And we'll see where we land for the lighting and what we have to adjust in order to stop the mob farm over on that side of the village. Okay, all of our street lights are in, and as you see, I also built a little pond over here to help with some mob proofing, and it gave me a nice little excuse to put another lamppost over here to help light the area up as well. So, with all of this in, there is just one more little addition that I would like to make. So, I'm going to go ahead and make that, and then we'll take a look at the completed village. And here we have it. The final little addition to the village here is down this little path. I put a nice little path in here with some stripped birch wood, and it down to the docks over here. So it's a little bit of a small docks, but that is fine because the village is pretty small itself. Having access to the docks and the ocean as a result is important, though, because a large part of this village's economy is going to be trading, obviously, as it is with many little villages. I'm going to have to place wood or dirt in there to fix that little eyesore. And we're going to put another... We're going to build like a ship here, too, that would be docked here, but that is going to have to wait until the next episode, because we are out of time. That's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you to everybody who came out and watched. Let me know what you think of this village. I am actually pretty happy with it, so it's one of the few things I've built that I haven't been able to point out and say, I mean, it's decent, but I don't really like this. So it turned out quite well. So thanks again to everyone who came out and watched. And don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this, and I will see you in the next time. But until then, be safe, be happy, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.